I believe at the heart of board gaming is storytelling, and everyone has a story to tell. Welcome to Have a Seat with Amanda Lee, and join me each week as I introduce designers, publishers, content creators, artists, and more from the board game community. There's room for everyone at my table, so have a seat. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the podcast. My name is Amanda Lee Anderson. I am your host, aka Empty Nest Board Mama on the gram. Today I have with me 1/3 of the greatest board gaming podcasts to infinity and beyond, Operation Game Night. With me is Mr. Travis Smith.
What is up, Amanda? Glad to be here.
So grateful to get you here. We have a little bit of a time zone issue, as anybody who listens to OGN knows that you are in Germany. So it's always fun to try and schedule those things, but I'm glad we made it happen. Welcome.
Now Have a Seat is international. It's an international podcast now.
International podcast. Yes, absolutely. I have one international listener every week.
Excellent. That's probably me.
Awesome. So as you know, we are a 3-parter here at Have a Seat with Amanda Lee. Very first thing is I would like you to have a seat and tell me all about yourself.
Okay, I am Travis Smith, and most of your other guests so far have said, I am a board game designer, I'm a board game artist. Well, I'm none of those. I am an Air Force officer that happens to have a board game podcast. And like you said, I'm one of 3 members of the Operation Game Night podcast. Mm-hmm. So me and my buddies, me, Clay, Gable, and Jared Erickson all kind of went our separate ways. We had a really tight-knit gaming group in Colorado. We kind of all scattered to the wind, went all over the world, and we kind of missed just hanging out, talking about board games. So we decided to form Operation Game Night podcast just as an excuse to get together and rant about board games to one another every week. If nothing else, it's just an excuse to talk to my friends. So we've been enjoying it. We're on episode 36 this week, and we are going strong. We're enjoying doing it. We've met some awesome people through the community. You were our very first guest on the podcast. So we are humbled by the amount of people that support us, and we love, just talking to people about games that they love.
Yeah, absolutely. You're, like I said, one of my favorite board game podcasts. And I think the reason behind that is just because just a couple of dudes sitting, hanging out, talking about board games is very relatable. It's not at all technical. Like Paul Solomon's podcast.
Oh my God.
Little too much for my smooth brain. But yeah, it's just like every time I listen to you guys, usually you get about 7 texts from me as I'm listening, like, hey, what about this? Hey, did you know this?
And that's a great thing is like, we are not the most knowledgeable guys out there about board games, but everybody that engages with us and hits us up on Instagram or writes us or follows us or whatever, they all have these opinions, and we learn so much more about gaming through the podcast. So we might not be the wisest guys. We might not be able to deep dive into minuscule little details in board game decision making like Paul Solomon, but we're certainly learning a lot. And we're enjoying it. We're having fun doing it. So just having a great time. And I love that. I think that's what people really are drawn to you guys about, because it's just, like I said, some dudes from the Air Force chatting about board games. Just a bunch of dudes.
And then the occasional, hose story. But men's health. If you need your men's health, update, check out OG.
Yeah. Check out OGN if you want to learn about leaky hoses. It's
absolutely. Yeah. So what else? You're officer in the Air Force. How long you've been in?
I've been in going on 12 years. I'm a civil engineer. Jared's a civil engineer. Clay is a Space Force officer. And we've been kind of stationed all over the place. We all have vast different experiences. Clay is at a different point in his career where he's getting out and, forging his civilian career afterwards. So
trying to look for a real job.
Trying to look for a real job, trying to grow up and figure out what he wants to do when he grows up, just like all of us. So we've enjoyed it. Our careers have been good. Air Force has been good to us. We were all classmates together at the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
And so Jared and I had a couple of classes together. We weren't like tight-knit friends, until we actually kind of all went back to the Air Force Academy a couple of years ago to teach and to do different things.
Okay.
And, I was actually teaching a class with Clay. And I said, oh, Clay, what'd you do this weekend? And he's like, oh, I played board games. And he's kind of like dejected about it, kind of like hiding his nerd up a little bit. And I was like, oh, what board games?
What game did you play?
Yeah.
And that opened the door, huh?
Yeah, we struck up a conversation. He invited me to a game night, and the rest is history. So
at the Cardboard Castle?
Yeah. The Cardboard Castle, the Cardboard Keg. Yeah. So we got big things in the future and some fun times behind us. But we're looking forward to it all. We're enjoying what we're doing.
Do you remember what the first game you guys played together was?
Oh, that's a good question. I honestly don't. I don't remember. Clay, his collection was gigantic. Mine was not that big.
Okay.
Clay frequents Petrie's family games in Colorado Springs. That's like his go-to. And man, he has a constant rotation of board games, an impressive collection. Yeah. And even though he just offloaded, 125, 150 games, something crazy like that, his collection is probably still larger than mine. So we play a lot of different games. We have pretty vast tastes. Yeah, I think that's been a cool thing that's emerged from the podcast over the episodes that we've done is Jared has his taste in like party games. He's like the vibe of the game night and like getting people excited to get together and gather around food and games and stuff.
Yeah,
Clay is like very technical and he enjoys mechanics and he enjoys decision making and he enjoys a bunch of different games and developers and publishers and all that stuff. I tend to support like smaller developers.
Yes.
I kind of like those weird little niche things. I'm the one like crossover video game enjoyer. And I play more solo games than the other two. So yeah, we each have our unique takes and we each have our unique tastes and we all bring them to the table and are able to have a discussion about it every week. And it's always fun.
Do you have a favorite memory of like the most epic game night the three of you have had?
Oh, my personal favorite. I know that they'll probably say the Dead Reckoning night where they all dressed up like pirates. Unfortunately, I was not able to be there for that one. So I'm going to go with our Western Legends night.
Okay.
We planned it like a week in advance. It was Western Legends night. Everybody come ready. We're all going to dress up in cowboy attire.
Okay.
And so we got our belt buckles on and our cowboy hats and our cowboy boots. And we drank whiskey and we played and we listened to country music and we played Western Legends. And Clay's got a great reel from that on his Cardboard and Clay Instagram that is just like so perfect. He's got some Alan Jackson playing. We're sipping whiskey and playing Western Legends. So it's one of my favorite games for that reason and one of my fondest gaming memories with those guys.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when you do your big crossover here, when you come back to the States, and do you have something planned, a game in mind that you guys are all looking to get to the table and dress up for and just recreate that, next big memory?
I don't know if we're going to do a theme tonight like that, but, Jared has his eyes set on the World Series of Board Gaming.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Jared is he is a fierce competitor when it comes to board games.
Okay.
And he might not have the widest taste in board games. Like he doesn't play all the games out there, but the ones that he plays, he is insanely good at.
Okay.
And so he's got a couple of games that he wants to play. He's been big on terraforming Mars lately. So I sent him a couple of different terraforming Mars. I sent him Ares expansion or Ares expedition. I sent him the dice game. I sent him Underwater Cities, which is kind of like the terraforming Mars.
That so cool.
I sent him
little
that.
Bubbles.
Building little domes underwater. And then I sent him Azul because he's got to practice that. So
is that one of them too? Okay.
Yeah. So
is it just a base Azul?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's in the middle of his training montage right now. So
we'll probably get a couple of those. Another one of them.
Yeah, and he had never played that one, so he's got some work to do before he's ready. So we're gonna probably play a bunch of those.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you've been playing lately.
Oh man,
what have you gotten to the table? So we have been, you've been my BGA bestie lately. I think Jared's the only one that I haven't played with solo. Like I know we all played. Yeah, now I'm scared. I don't.
He's
gonna kill me.
Any game that he's familiar with, he's pretty intense when it comes to BGA stuff. So
don't tell him, but I have never played Arnak. Don't tell him.
Well, he'll invite you and he'll just roll you. He's been rolling me in clay for years. So I would not recommend that be the game that you go to or invite him to. Maybe invite the one that he has no idea what he's doing. But yeah, I've probably played 50 games of Arnak with that guy, and he's beat me in every single one.
Yeah, just rolls. Yeah. I think the only one I've played with him is when we played, all four of us, Let's Go to Japan. And definitely not going to make the first game that I invite him to Arnak or Feast for Odin, neither one. So we might have to go to Cascadia isn't on there, but I'll find something a little more my speed.
Yeah, you better bring it that first time.
Yeah, but you and I, we've been rocking on BGA. We played Sky Team.
Yes,
that was a little rough.
Yeah, it took us 4 or 5 tries to beat the Madeira airport.
Yeah, so whenever you're ready for the next level up, let me know.
Let's fire it up. Let's do it.
Yeah, the one that I think it was Clay was talking about, where the kerosene runs out. I took a peek at that one. I'm like, ooh. We had no challenges other than some like left and right banking.
Yeah, that one's not too bad, honestly. Like you just have to attribute one die to that gauge every time, otherwise you lose an extreme amount of fuel. But it's more manageable than some of the challenges.
So I think part of my issue with Sky Team is that I forget one of them can be there first, correct? Is it the right one?
I don't think so, because you have to.
Maybe that's why
you have to get the altitude and the distance at the exact same time. And so what you're trying to do is, like, if you end up getting ahead in distance, you have to like drop significantly in altitude.
Yeah.
And so you have to like balance those two as they go down so that you arrive at the same time.
It has to be the exact same time. For some reason, I thought one could be like, I don't know. But I think that was part of my problem. I'm going to have to double check it before the next time. And what else have we played lately?
Stone Spine Architects.
Yes, I loved it.
I am really enjoying that one. That's been a lot of fun, and I love the fantasy element to it. I love the dungeon building. It kind of gives me, I don't know if you've ever played Boss Monster by Brotherwise.
No,
Boss Monster is, you are playing as like a 16-bit, 32-bit era video game boss, and you are building out a dungeon that is supposed to entice heroes to come in and try and face your dungeon, but you want to defeat them before they get to you and start damaging the boss.
Okay.
And so the cards play off of one another.
That game. I think I found it at a rummage sale. I think it's on my shelf.
Yeah, that one that was pretty early in my like board gaming career, was Boss Monster. And they've spun it off to a bunch of different things like Overboss and things like that. Dungeon Kart is another spinoff. If you've ever heard that one, it's like a racing game that's like Mario Kart, the board game. But Boss Monster, I really enjoy that game. It's got some cool expansions and stuff too. But Stone Spine Architects really gives me Boss Monster vibes. Yeah,
I really love the artwork in that one. And Thunderworks Games, based out of Wisconsin.
Excellent. Even better.
Yeah, I've been trying to check out, I want to check out Emerald Skulls. I just saw that was another Thunderworks one. Oh, yeah. I don't know why the artwork just really intrigues me. Yeah, I like the little goblin guy in Stone Spine. And it's funny, when you mentioned it on the podcast, I also call it Stone Spire all the time. I don't know why. It's just like you feel like that rolls off the tongue more than Stone Spine.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they went with Stone Spine, but yeah, Stone Spire, Stone Spine, yeah. But really enjoying that one. Clay talked about Pixies the other week.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing a lot of that on BGA.
Okay.
And honestly, right now, BGA is kind of the majority of my gaming because we're packing up and we're getting ready to move.
Yeah, you're literally sitting on the floor. So
sitting on the floor.
You have a table to play games?
We do have a table. We have like a rental table. But I kept out a bunch of button shy games.
Okay.
Kept out a couple of small box mint tin. Been really enjoying a lot of those mint tin games lately. I kept out Doom Pilgrim Pocket, which is like a much larger game called Doom Pilgrim that they shrank down into like kind of a deeper mint tin. It's like maybe an inch deep.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like a RPG in a mint tin that you kind of flip these cards through. It's like a choose your own adventure book, but shrank down into a small little pocket sized thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kept out a couple of like solo games. So I kept out Coffee Roaster and I kept out Conservus because I never got all that far in Conservus, and I really want to give that another shot because I really enjoyed that. Like anytime I have to draw things out of a bag, I'm in. I love that. So I kept out a couple of games that I will carry with me and take with me while I travel. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I have a little, not a goodie bag, but I have a binder prepared for you that I'm going to send, and I think you'll like that. The one that's Quests Over Coffee. I think you'll like that one.
I'm really excited for that.
Cool. So, and then there's also something to do with the Dungeon Post. It's the same creator as Quests Over Coffee. So it's got this super cute artwork. I'll show you. These are the cards.
Oh, that's great.
But there's one of them that's got a mailman on it. But it's, where is it? Oh, of course, it's the one I can't find. I got a whole pile here that I got to laminate and get ready for you. Oh, that's not it. Anyways.
I think those guys actually just launched a new Kickstarter like this week.
Oh, really?
The Quest Over Coffee guys. I can't remember what it's called. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that they just launched one this week with another print and play / printed version physical copy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for print and plays on Kickstarter. I'm like, it's $5. Like, I'll back it. I think I have probably about 10 of them that I haven't even looked at or printed. But I'm like, I just want to support, these designers. And there's one of them. It's Quilted or Quiltable or something like that. And I think they've had 3 or 4 Kickstarters. I've backed every single one of them, and I've never looked at any of them.
That's okay.
So
That's all right.
I'm going to print that one for you too.
Shelf of Shame. Shelf of Shame doesn't count if it's digital. It's okay.
Digital Shelf of Shame. Oh my gosh! If I had to go into that one, that would be horrible.
Well, I know, on the podcast, I've talked before about how we make this big deal about board games as a hobby because people have these shelf of shames, and I relate it to the video game world or the video game, community. And when they have their backlog, they say like, oh, we have this huge backlog that I have to work through. Like, it's very different having a backlog of digital games since everybody's going digital now with their video gaming versus a shelf of shame for board games. It takes up physical space in your house most of the time.
You got to look at it. It's staring you in the face.
Yeah, you spend money on it. It sits in its shrink maybe if you're not like me and I have to like unwrap it and punch it immediately.
Oh, do you?
Might sit and Oh, I love punching board games. It's like
I'm gonna just send you my games to punch.
It's like a sub hobby. There's something about punching games and organizing those game boxes and sleeving cards that just like, it just triggers something in my brain that I love so much.
Do you sleeve everything?
I don't sleeve everything. It's too expensive, but
true.
Yeah, it's the games that I really care about. I do sleeve. Like I have Marvel Champions. I have like huge boxes of that, and I find so much joy sleeving those guys. But
do you have cool different hero sleeve backgrounds, or
I don't know because they don't make sleeves for every hero.
Gotcha.
And it like drives my neurotic brain crazy if I were to have like a Spider-Man back on a Black Panther card or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do that. No.
So are you like you cannot wear like a Nike hat with an Adidas shoes kind of guy?
It's either all Nike or nothing.
Not sponsored.
Yeah,
not an ad.
But Nike, if you want to have like a Nike board gaming division, then
absolutely hit us up. We'll get some Empty Nest Board Mama Operation Game Night crossover with. I
like that.
Can we do it with Puma like they did with the Ninja Turtles? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah, those are sweet.
Those are so cool.
Yeah. Puma does some really cool stuff.
They really do.
Adidas did like a whole series for Spider-Man.
Okay.
When they released one of the Spider-Man video games, and those kicks are amazing. They're so cool, and they actually like put their shoes that they developed into the game, and vice versa. So
get out of here. That's awesome.
It's cool.
Vans has done postal wear. I don't know if you knew that,
Ooh,
but they have postal vans. They're pretty cool.
that's pretty cool. Like USPS?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So what else have you been playing? Anything other than BGA? No epic game nights there in Germany?
Yeah, not a whole lot of epic game nights. What have we played lately? We've been loving Rebirth. We have talked about that on so many of our recent podcasts.
Love it.
Rebirth is just such a simple design. Have you played that one yet?
Yes. I've only played the Scotland side.
Okay.
Have you played both?
I am just enjoying Scotland right now. So we've run that back probably 4 or 5 times already. Really enjoying that. We haven't even needed to do the Ireland side yet because we're just loving that simplicity so much of the Scotland side.
I haven't even read what the difference between Ireland is yet. So
yeah, I think the only difference is like when you place a chip that's around these like different spires, it triggers some sort of effect for your next couple chips, or you can play off these different spires to give you different bonuses. So but it's super easy to introduce, easy to get to the table, fast to play. Been really enjoying those. I just got in the mail. I got Tussie Mussy from Elizabeth Hargrave.
Okay.
That game is super simple, and it's like a miniaturized, simplified version of like Fantasy Realms in a little pocket thing. I got the button shy version, not the big box that they sell at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah.
In the Fando.
Yeah. Really like that one. And then just tons of BGA. You know, I've setting aside games, getting ready to travel, and been a little busy. Haven't been able to get all that many games to the table, but got a couple of epic game nights coming up in June that I'm really looking forward to. Kept out a couple of games that I will get to the table before we leave, but you know, this past month has been crazy for us. So
yeah, I understand. Yes, I you better keep me posted. It's about 3 to 4 hours to drive.
Okay.
So if I don't get an invite to one of these epic board games, I will not listen to your podcast anymore. It's a threat.
Wow.
Ultimatum.
That is the ultimate ultimatum.
Like 1/10 of your viewership is leaving.
Wow.
I'm teasing.
It's probably true though. That's okay.
No.
We'll definitely keep you posted because one, you probably have a larger collection than both of us, and two, it would just be great to have like a meetup in person and get some real games to the table for once. So we'll definitely keep you posted.
Yes, you could teach me some big boy games.
Yeah, Jared can whoop our butts at both of them.
As long as Clay sends me the video first, I will watch the video.
Yeah.
So out of the three of you guys, who's like, is Clay the rule book guy? Is he the like, I'm going to check this?
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know if he's like the guy that's always checking things or like checking people on the rules, but he's the person that definitely comes most prepared.
Okay.
He's the guy that will watch the 10 videos that it requires to learn the game and to set it up and to get all that stuff squared away. He will send you rule books or send you digital rule books and videos to watch and homework to do before you show up to his big game nights, which we don't mind. And usually we're pretty good participants in. But he's like, when we do like, I don't know if you listened to the episode when Jared went back to Colorado and they had like the epic game night with everybody. He had like a schedule, like this time to this time is eating and socializing.
This table at 6 o'clock is playing.
Yeah. That is Clay. That is Clay.
That's awesome.
Jared is like all about having fun and getting people around a table or around a plate of food or whatever it is. And then I am more of like a thematic type guy. I really like thematic games. I like immersing myself in like some sort of other world or, if the game has a good story to tell, cinematic experiences like Nemesis or Western Legends or one of my favorites is Wonderland's War. Love
Let's play Wonderland's War. I could be Alice. I'll dress up. You could be the Mad Hatter. You
perfect.
Pick your...
that's a good theme night.
Or actually, Jared could probably be Alice better than I could be. So
he'd be a good like Jabberwock.
Yeah. Are you into D&D at all? If you're, really into the storytelling, the immersive, experiences, has that ever been your...
That has always like been a huge intriguing thing for me is like, I would love to get some like one-shot RPGs done.
Okay.
I would love to do that. They have like a Root RPG that super interests me. I love Root.
Hmm.
They have like a Batman RPG. They've got Marvel
Yeah.
RPGs. They got D&D, obviously. I'd love to get in on some one shot sometime, but
Hmm.
it's not like something that
You can't
I
do a
don't
big
know.
campaign.
The campaigns are hard to manage, especially while I'm over here. And
Hmm.
I know that they have like online forums where you can sign up for one shots and stuff, but I
Okay.
like honestly don't know anything about it. So
Yeah.
if somebody's out there that's listening that wants to teach me or walk us through a one shot,
Yeah.
I think it would be so much fun to get like
I
a
would
bunch
love
of our
that.
people together, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Tay,
Pam.
Pam, like all these people together for a one shot.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I would love to
That
do that.
would be epic. I would love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just recently discovered the best like short episode series. It's called Dungeons and Drag Queens. Have you heard of
Oh,
it?
no, I have
It
not.
is amazing. And
That sounds great.
I've never I really didn't get into the board game industry. I would say like into the hobby until like 4 years ago. So I'm
Okay.
not super immersed, and I knew what Dungeons and Dragons was. I knew what Magic was. It was just never something that I seemed interested in. But now that the more that you learn about it, and if you're open minded to it, like I just think it's amazing. And
Yeah.
I saw Deborah, I don't know what her last name is, but she's like one of the premier dungeon masters. She also does like playthroughs on Watch It Played with
Oh, okay.
the BGG crew.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking
No,
about? The
yeah.
blonde. She
Yeah.
just did a podcast with, God, I am so unprepared for this conversation. But she basically was like, hey, do you want to play D&D? And the guy was like, sure, you know. And she's like, no, right now. Did you see this? Have you
No,
seen
I
this
did
clip?
not.
I'll have to send it to you. But
Okay.
she's like, then she starts, okay, we're walking through the forest, and tells him, and then just kind of gets him into it. I'm like, so that's all it is. It's storytelling. And you have like your character, and based on how you roll is how the story progresses. And I'm just like, uh-oh, did I lose you again?
No, I'm listening. We got chickens screaming next door. You can
Oh,
probably hear us.
okay. I was like, oh no, I lost him again.
That sounds awesome though. That's so
Yeah.
cool. And I've listened to a couple of like short podcasts where they do a one shot, and it
Okay.
just sounds like so much fun. You sit down for like 45 minutes together. Somebody walks you through a story. You make very simple decisions, and you make those decisions collectively. And you
Mhm.
it has tense moments, and it's got drama, and it's got world building, and I love all that stuff. And I can appreciate like somebody that can do that with such skill and
Mhm.
precision that can get you immersed immediately and into the story and on your way without all this like extra fluff around it.
Right.
That's great. I love that streamlined experience.
Yeah. I didn't know that I loved it. The more that I learn about it, I'm like, oh, I want to learn this.
Yeah.
It's
We
a
should do
little
that.
bit less expensive than board games because it's like paper and dice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, people, they invest heavily in their dice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Seen people with some serious upgraded dice or like thematic
Mhm.
dice, depending on what like campaign they're
Mhm.
going through and stuff,
Yeah.
or what class they're playing.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's something that I could get like way down the rabbit hole on, and I'm interested in like dipping my toe a little bit. So yeah, I'll have to check out that podcast, and maybe we can get together and do a one shot or something.
Yeah. I've heard that playing Munchkin is like an intro to D&D.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you kick in the door, there's the monster, you're going to fight, you're going to run. So it's like intro D&D.
Yeah. I had these grand plans of like doing a Root RPG, like a short RPG with like the people that we got together and played Root all the time. And those guys were not all that interested. I think they like the concept of D&D kind of scared them off a little bit.
Just don't tell them. Say, hey, we're going to play this game. It's just say it's a Root expansion.
Yeah.
But it's you don't need it's just you don't need the board but you could still use your little guys or
use your little guys.
You could be Marquita Cat and
I don't know if you saw Jared for Christmas. He got me my own like Root faction.
That was awesome.
Or my own like my Vagabond for the Root RPG is like the Silver Spur Syndicate.
Yes.
And it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
What a thoughtful gift. Who would have thought? Like sometimes Jared just really surprises you. You know, as someone who doesn't know him, as an outsider, when you guys were discussing that, I was like, wow, like what a thoughtful guy. And you know, when he talks about like kids and, you know, sometimes I'm like, what is this guy on? And other times I'm like, he's such a sweetheart. Like he's such a wild card. Like how can you not love Jared?
He is a wild card, that's for sure. And while these guys may try and play tough, like these big Division I wrestler guys, those guys are softies at heart. So
no fools.
Yeah, they are. They're surprising and they're interesting, and I love those guys. They're great.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about Operation Game Night.
Yes, Operation Game Night.
Yeah, so you said you guys were some friends that have now dispersed all over the world. The reason that you started the podcast was just, you know, kind of to have an excuse to get together and chat about your common hobby of board games. So what else can we expect from Operation Game Night? Can you give me any spoilers? Can you tell me what do we expect, or what else does the listener need to know about Operation Game Night?
Okay, so like you said, we're not like the most technical podcast out there when it comes to board gaming. We're not industry insiders. We're not taking like backroom meetings with these publishers or like getting sent these copies well in advance. We are people that enjoy board games, and we like to diversify our tastes and try new things. But really, we are there to just talk about board games in general. We talk about the games that we played that week, anything that we bought, any sort of like board gaming experience that we had, and we kind of debrief our week in gaming. And then we will have a like mission objective every week, which was like a special topic that we'll cover.
Yeah.
It's a theme. Yeah. It's like a kind of specialized discussion, small box games or games for travel, or how to get your kids into gaming, or, you know, whatever it is. And then finally we'll go over the fence and we'll talk about things that we've been doing outside of board gaming, shows we've been watching, books we've been reading, video games we've experienced. Like Jared talks about cooking pancakes and stuff. Like it's whatever we want to talk about.
The uni,
yeah, he's a big party host. So it's a little bit different than the normal board game podcast that you'd listen to. We do it a lot, very ad hoc, to be honest. Week to week, we're like, what are we talking about this week? And it's like Friday afternoon.
So you don't have a month in advance. You don't have Clay hasn't built a schedule. Like this week we're talking about this. He's not planned 3 months out.
You know, every time we get a little bit ahead, then all of a sudden our lives get busy and we fall behind. So it's just a matter of like, once we get our feet back underneath us, we'll have more of a like drawn out schedule. When we have special guests, which we do every couple weeks, we'll schedule those people out pretty far in advance. So this next week, 2 weeks from now, we're going to record with the owner of Petrie's Games, which we're really excited.
Yay! Yeah. That sounds awesome. Yeah, is Clay going to go to Petrie's? Is it on
I think
location?
He is going to do it in person with Cam, which I'm really excited about.
On location.
And Cam runs like one of the best board game stores we've ever been in. Like it's like a very small, nice and compact game store. It's very welcoming. They have great deals. They have like cool events that they set up. They host all of the local trade, like swap meet stuff. And so we're just going to pick his brain about running a game store, his approach to it, how we got into it, all that type of stuff. So that's coming up soon. And then eventually when we come back from all of our craziness moves, I think what we're going to end up doing is like breaking the podcast up into 3 separate listens throughout the week. So instead of like sitting down and listening for an hour and a half, because we've kind of been running longer and longer as we get more comfortable, we're going to break it up a little bit. So you have like your debrief for the week, and that'll be a short 30-minute chunk. And then it'll be a special topic once a week. And then maybe every other week we'll do Over the Fence and we'll talk about other stuff. But it's kind of just to make sure that the listener like can listen to it shortly throughout the week without having to like sit down and like invest an hour and a half every week with us. They can kind of parcel it up throughout the week, and we like talking, and we sometimes talk a little long, and we just make it
No.
more accessible for everybody.
So I have an hour commute to work.
Okay.
So Thursday morning is usually my favorite day of the week, sometimes Friday.
Okay.
So this listener does not mind the hour and a half, simply because I have the commute time.
Sure.
But I do appreciate the more often. So if I don't have to wait a whole week to get my fill of OGN.
Yeah. So we're still trying to work out the details of that, but I think that's the direction we're heading is we're going to start breaking it up a little bit, and maybe we can get more guests on, and maybe we can do more special things. But closer to the boat is Joint Ops June. So while we move and shuffle around through June, we're going to do our Joint Ops June, which is all of our board gaming friends that we've made this year, anybody that hosts any sort of podcast or YouTube or whatever, we're going to like feature their stuff on our streams throughout the week. So have a seat with Amanda Lee. Vic from Games Moss,
he's the best. He's so much fun to talk to.
Yeah. Such a such a good dude, and
he
such
is.
a diverse background that he comes from, that he brings to the discussion. So we're going to do some stuff like that, kind of shake things up a little bit through June till we settle again, get our feet underneath us, and then we can keep pressing forward with more OGN fun.
Yeah. Do you have a dream guest that you would like to get on the podcast? I mean, always, I've been there already, and I will be again. So don't put me on the top of the list. But
yeah, I mean, we peaked with you coming on, but
it's only downhill from here.
We were a little bummed because Jared actually reached out to Rodney. He reached out to Rodney, and Rodney said he was scaling back his appearances. So we just barely missed that window. Maybe someday he'll come on if we can continue to spam his email. Rodney would be a big one.
Yeah.
Phil Walker Harding.
Corner him at a convention or something.
Yeah.
Put a mic in his face. Hey, Rodney.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast.
You're live. Yeah. Perfect. I like that. I've been
Phil Walker
keeping
Harding. Absolutely.
Yeah, Phil Walker Harding. He's a big one. We have those designers that we love. I live in Germany. I'm always on the lookout for Reiner Knizia out in the wild. Haven't run into him yet. I think he's a pretty reclusive guy.
Yeah.
But
lure him out with a bow tie.
Yeah, that's right. Been on the lookout for bow ties in Germany, and it's probably Reiner. But we just like talking to people that enjoy board games. They don't have to be the biggest designers in the world. They just have to be people that enjoy talking about board games, and we always learn something. Yeah. I feel like it's fun to introduce new people to your crew, even even if they're not the biggest names in the world. We just like talking to people that enjoy board games. So
same.
Yeah, people that have passion for board game. That is our ideal guest.
Absolutely, same. Okay, so did we do it?
I think we did it.
We did it. Well, Travis, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always. You are my BGA bestie, and I wish you and the guys at OGN nothing but success and luck with all of your moves, and everything goes smoothly. Nothing gets broken. No board games get lost.
Oh, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. There's too many.
Well, if you need to send some, in advance, I can hold on to them for you.
Perfect.
If it's cheaper to ship them via USPS than on a boat. Perfect.
I'll load up a box.
Yeah. Travis, thank you so much again for being here. I'll talk to you again real soon.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.